NBC College Station, that third down conversion when y'all are down 3 and eventually led to that touchdown seemed like maybe the unsung, moment of the game. Just what do you remember about that play? I think it was 3rd and 4, and they stopped you initially and busted out. Just what do you remember about that?
I don't remember much. I just be balling, really. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the mentality. And if you've watched him tote the rock for more than just a few plays, you know Le'Veon Moss really does just be ballin'. Texas A&M's 2025 offense is going to have a few options. A legitimate quarterback one in Marcel Reed with some experience under his belt now, an offseason to build around the guy, and an exciting mix of playmakers like Casey Concepcion, Terry Bussey, Ruben Owens, Mario Craver, Amari Daniels, a veteran offensive line with 7 guys who've started SEC play. There's firepower, but at the center of it all, the piece that gives this offense its ceiling, in my opinion, might just be number 8. Le'Veon Moss is one of the most complete backs we've seen in the maroon and white in quite some time, and if he can return healthy, he's the kind of player who could etch his name into the all-time Aggie canon. Guys, welcome back to the Player Spotlight series where we look at individual Aggies, kind of preview their 2025 season, talk about their outlook, talk about how they got to where they are now, and have a lot of fun doing it. So thank you guys for being here. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. We'll continue to put more of these videos out as we approach the fall camp season, where we get more into hardcore preseason prediction mode. Thanks for being here. Let's talk about Le'Veon. Moss is a 215-pound back with a sprinter's frame and a linebacker's attitude. His contact balance is elite. And he's not just taking hits and staying up. He's absorbing force and turning it into forward momentum. He gets extra yards. He welcomes contact. Scrum forming, pile building. That's a green light for Le'Veon. He'll either push it forward, bounce off the chaos for 10 more yards, or just run through an MF's face. But here's the key in 2024, the previous season. Le'Veon really leveled up beyond just those attributes. He wasn't just a bruiser anymore. He added vision, timing, feel to his game. And you could see him playing off of a much improved offensive line. Though it wasn't perfect, it helped Le'Veon out quite a bit, and he played ball with them. He waited. He flowed. He let daylight open up before accelerating into holes. And that kind of growth, that's a lot on Le'Veon, but that's also coaching. So once again, major shout out to Trooper Taylor. I've done nothing but rave about him over the last few weeks. We've had some big recruiting wins, and obviously the development we've seen in the running back room was really, really good last year behind that offensive line. And also Trooper Taylor is also just a guy that galvanizes the team on the sideline, whether it's the running backs or the offense or even the defensive players overall. But major credit to Moss himself, because not every power back evolves like that. It was a big deal. And if you put the numbers to the name, last year, before he went down with injury, 121 carries for 765 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's just in 9 games. That's 6.3 yards per carry, which at the time that he went down was good for second in the SEC. 3.72 yards after contact, 21% missed tackles force per PFF. Those are all elite numbers. He posted 16 explosive runs, and we all remember his long on the year, that second half opening 75-yarder against Missouri where he punished a defender for misfitting a gap. His PFF run grade, 82, and that is just straight up NFL caliber. In fact, scouts already see it. Most have Le'Veon as a second or early third day draft pick, and that could rise or at least maintain itself with a strong 2025 season. But of course, the big question on everyone's mind is the knee. Let's be honest, the injury against South Carolina looked bad, real bad. And losing him late in the season derailed a lot of what the Aggies wanted to be on offense. They were really, really good in short yardage scenarios and running plays before Le'Veon went down. Amari Daniels, solid veteran. E.J. Smith kind of struggled to get things going until very, very late in the season. The bowl game was his best game. And obviously Ruben Owens was quite limited due to that fall camp injury when he eventually returned late in the year. But suddenly, that Moss-Daniels dynamic duo that was working so well throughout the season, that was gone. And without Le'Veon, this offense lost a lot of its identity. Now, here's what we know about the recovery so far. We have to put this out there because I think this is a really important part of tracking this Aggie offense. Coach Elko has said multiple times that Le'Veon avoided the worst of what it looked like. It looked terrible, but right after that injury and in the weeks kind of following it, Coach Elko downplayed it quite a bit. And in the spring, Elko said he expected Moss to be full go by fall camp. More recently, at a coaches' night event a couple weeks ago, Elko adjusted the timeline slightly, now saying middle of the camp for full contact for Le'Veon Moss. But Le'Veon Moss himself has said multiple times that he expects to be 100% ready to roll this fall. Here's the good thing about the way this season kind of shapes up. You're not looking at the scenario you were in last year, where you come out the gates playing Notre Dame, an elite defense, all hands on deck kind of a game. While you do have a formidable G5 opponent in UTSA to open up in Utah State in week 2, you have a chance to let other guys help Le'Veon ease into the season to where hopefully he's able to take on more of a workload by week 3 on the road at Notre Dame. So you have a little bit of a runway. So that mid-fall camp timeline doesn't necessarily mean, okay, we're not going to have a full go guy in week 1. This is not good. You have time to ramp up, and you certainly have players around him to help him out. So it's something to watch for sure. But there is real optimism that Moss will be back in time to make a major impact this season. And here's the thing. The tape is great. The stats are great. But Le'Veon gives this team something else. He's real. No filters, no fluff, no gimmicks. He really just be ballin'. And that's not just a quote. That's his mantra. And it's one that Aggie fans really rallied around after that quote that I put at the beginning of the video came out. He plays the game that fans want to see it be played. Physical, tough, no nonsense, no fluff. There's a reason he's actually maybe my favorite player on the team this year. He's definitely up there. And honestly, if he finishes his career the way it was going last year, he might become one of my favorite Aggies of all time. If Le'Veon Moss is healthy, the offense changes. Because when you've got a guy who can turn 2nd and 7 into 3rd and 1, or even rail it into a 30-yard gain, or turn a stuffed inside zone into a 20-yard bounce out, you've got to get out of jail free card. And that's what Le'Veon did for this offense time and time again last year. You combine that with Marcel Reed's dual threat ability, KC Concepcion stretching the field, Bussy and Craver stressing defenses underneath, and with a nasty, experienced offensive line to boot, this unit could cook. Moss doesn't need 25 carries a game to dominate. He just needs the ball in the right moments to do what he does. And if he's right physically, he's still the most dynamic weapon on this roster, in my opinion. So keep your eyes on the timeline. Keep your ears open this fall, because if number 8 is healthy and he's back to his full self, then the ceiling on this offense, it lifts quite dramatically. And for Le'Veon Moss, 2025 could be the year where the phrase, "I just be ballin'," becomes not just a quote, but an Aggie legacy. Guys, thanks for watching this player spotlight on Le'Veon Moss. It was so much fun to revisit this guy, to just look at what he did last season, to look at the next development in him this previous season, adding that patience, adding that willingness to just kind of flow and not accelerate too early into trouble, but to let his offensive line work. And that should all be improved with more leverage around him in 2025. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next player spotlight. Like and subscribe. Check out the merch store for hats like this. I'll see you soon. Gig 'em.